Imagine walking through a bustling street, surrounded by people who seem to be rushing through life without taking a moment to breathe. Everyone is moving fast, following a script written long before they were born, driven by unseen forces, society, culture, and expectations. But deep within, you sense that something is different, that perhaps this script and way of living are not meant for you. Have you ever felt that way? A quiet voice within, telling you that there is something more, something deeper, something that doesn't fit the usual mold? If so, you're not alone. Many spiritual seekers have heard that same call, and it often leads them to step away from the societal norms that everyone else follows. These norms may seem harmless or even natural, but on a spiritual journey, they begin to feel restrictive, limiting your growth, your peace, and your true self. Today, we'll explore 5 social norms that many spiritual individuals like you gradually stop following. By the end of this video, you may find yourself reflecting on which norms you're ready to let go of. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share might spark something within you, something that has been waiting for permission to break free. 1. The pursuit of external validation. One of the first social norms that spiritual people begin to release is the constant need for external validation. From childhood, we are conditioned to seek approval from others, whether it's from our parents, teachers, friends, or society at large. Think about it. How many times have you based your decisions on what others might think of you? It's as though our worth becomes tied to how others perceive us. Social media only amplifies this. The likes, comments, and follows become forms of digital approval that can leave us feeling empty when they're not there. But as spiritual individuals begin to awaken, they start questioning this game. Why am I seeking so much validation from others when the only opinion that truly matters is my own? Spiritual people begin to understand that chasing external validation is like chasing the wind. It never leads to lasting fulfillment. Instead, they begin turning inward, learning to trust themselves and approve of themselves. They realize that true validation, the kind that brings peace and joy, comes from within. The more they trust their inner voice, the less they need the approval of others. Letting go of this norm is not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. But as you grow spiritually, you begin to release the need for constant praise and acknowledgement. You no longer base your self-worth on what others think, but on who you know yourself to be. And that, my friend, is true freedom. 2. The obsession with material success. In our society, success is often measured by what you have, how much money, how many possessions, how high you've climbed on the career ladder. The more you have, the more successful you're considered. But spiritual people slowly begin to detach from this idea of success. They start to see that while material wealth can be nice, it doesn't equate to real happiness. Take a moment to think about it. How many stories have you heard of millionaires who feel empty inside, or celebrities who have everything the world says should make them happy, yet they struggle with inner turmoil? Materialism promises fulfillment but rarely delivers. Spiritual individuals begin to see through this illusion. They realize that true success isn't about how much you accumulate in the physical world, but how much peace, joy, and connection you experience in your inner world. This realization doesn't mean they give up on their careers or stop pursuing their goals. Rather, they approach it differently. Instead of chasing money or status for external validation, they pursue a life of purpose, passion, and meaning. They realize that when they live in alignment with their true self, abundance follows, but not always in the form of money. It's the abundance of peace, love, and fulfillment that truly matters. 3. Conforming to traditional relationship expectations. Society tells us that by a certain age, we should have found the one, gotten married, and maybe even started a family. It paints a picture of the perfect relationship as if one size fits all. But spiritual people start to question this narrative. Why must love look a certain way? Why must relationships follow a timeline or specific rules set by society? As spiritual individuals grow, they begin to see relationships through a different lens. They understand that the most important relationship is the one they have with themselves. They start prioritizing self-love, self-awareness, and inner growth over societal expectations of partnership. For some, this might mean choosing not to marry or start a family in the traditional sense. For others, it might mean redefining their relationships, seeking deeper, more meaningful connections that align with their soul's truth. Spiritual people often find that they're no longer drawn to superficial relationships or those that merely exist for appearances. They seek depth, authenticity, and a connection that transcends the physical to touch the spiritual. And when they find this, they realize that true love isn't about following a societal script. It's about aligning with someone who supports their soul's journey, one that fosters growth and true connection. If this video resonates with you so far, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you noticed yourself questioning any of these norms? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying this content. By subscribing, you'll join a community of like-minded souls, each walking their own spiritual path. Let's grow together and support one another as we break free from the norms that no longer serve us. Now, let's continue. 4. The constant need for productivity. We live in a world that glorifies busyness. If you're not constantly doing something, you're seen as lazy or unproductive. The hustle culture teaches us that we must always be working, always grinding, always pushing ourselves to achieve more. But spiritual people gradually begin to reject this idea. They come to understand that rest, reflection, and stillness are just as important, if not more important, than constant activity. They realize that true growth often happens in the quiet moments, in the spaces where we allow ourselves to simply be. In the spiritual realm, productivity is measured not by how much you can do, but by how aligned you are with your purpose. Spiritual individuals recognize that taking time to recharge, to connect with their inner selves, and to rest is essential for well-being and spiritual growth. As they step away from the hustle culture, they stop equating their worth with how much they accomplish in a day. In doing so, they find a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment, realizing that true productivity is not about quantity, but quality of life. This is an alignment that supports a more harmonious existence. 5. Following social traditions without question. Many of us grow up following traditions and cultural practices without ever pausing to ask why. Whether it's celebrating certain holidays, participating in rituals, or adhering to family customs, these traditions are often passed down through generations. But spiritual people begin to question these practices. Do these traditions resonate with my soul? Do they align with my true values, beliefs, and spiritual path? Or am I simply following them because they're expected of me? As they awaken, spiritual individuals start to discern which traditions align with their higher self and which ones they need to release. This doesn't mean they reject all traditions. Rather, they become more mindful and intentional about the ones they follow. They begin creating new traditions that hold deeper meaning and reflect their spiritual journey. By letting go of practices that no longer serve their soul's evolution, they create space for new experiences, ones that feel authentic and aligned with their true essence. This allows for a life led by purpose rather than obligation, one that aligns with the deeper, unseen forces of the universe.